Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Real News Live. Hello, everyone. How you guys doing tonight? Hi, Susie. Hi, Tia. Hi, Nana. Hi, Karen. Hi, Richard. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Susan. Hi, Minnie. Hi, Matt. How you guys doing tonight? Hi, Lynn. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Hopefully, everyone's having a good night tonight. Share this out if you can, and please hit that thumbs up button. It definitely helps the page as we get going talking about what's going on in America. Inflation, of course, is not helping anybody right now. On top of that, low pay and grueling work fuels truckers' shortage. As we're facing more shortages in the truckers. And of course, Joe Biden wants to recruit more veterans and women into the trucking industry amid the national trucker shortage of drivers. The problem is, it's not just a shortage of drivers right now, it's a shortage of trucks and parts for those trucks as well. A lot of people don't understand the shortage of stuff coming in from China, of course, definitely hit the trucking industry, as well as parts and everything else coming in, making parts more expensive. Of course, when parts are more expensive and drivers get paid less, they're less likely to work. Hi, Jacqueline. Hi, Mammy. Definitely open a box of wine. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Lynn. Oh, my goodness. It is just one thing after another out there. Every time we turn around, it's something else. From truckers, of course, getting lower pay and lower wages, to food prices going up. And how much more expensive are your groceries going to be? Or are they going to become? Cost of groceries keeps rising. It looks like it's going to stay that way. We're expecting at least a 3 to 4% raise monthly in grocery prices throughout 2022. That cost rate is extremely high. Most families can't afford the price of groceries now. What are we going to do by the end of the year? Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Rodney. Yeah. Eggs are going to go crazy. I don't know if you guys know, but now we're over 20 states. We do have the bird flu in over 20 states. Chicken's going to go crazy. And this isn't my projections right now. This is actual projections coming from around the world of what's happening in the U.S. U.S. dollar is losing value at an alarming rate. Russia is now seeking to partner with China in an effort to make a new banking system, which if they're successful and they get off Swiss banking and petrodollar doesn't exist, the U.S. dollar is basically valueless, which is happening slowly and surely. Of course, there's big banks like Deutsche Bank, of course, is forecasting the U.S. recession at this point, not a depression, but a recession. Says that the Federal Reserve's fight against inflation will spark a recession in the United States, beginning late this year. Recession calls the first from a major bank reflects growing concern that the Fed will hit the brakes on the economy so hard that it'll inadvertently end the recovery that just began 2 years ago. We're no longer seeing the Feds achieve a soft landing. Instead, we're anticipating more of an aggressive tightening on monetary policy to push the economy into a recession. We know that people can't get mortgages right now over 5%, housing rates at a ridiculous cost. Yeah, U.S. tests a hypersonic missile and miserably failed. I'm not even getting into that. Supersonic, yes, we've achieved, but hypersonic, we have not. It is sad. It is sad what's happening. Bad weather, crazy storms. That's not possible, Susan. That is not possible because Biden we had 588 million barrels. And Google's obviously wrong. I'm going to tell you that right now because we had 588 million barrels before they took the reserve offline. And then after they took the reserve offline, they took 90 million barrels and gave it out, doled it out to the country. So minus 90. and then they took 30 million and gave it to Ukraine, minus 30. That gives us 486 million barrels of oil. That's for sure the number. That's what we know was given out for sure. Minus the 160 million barrels that we're talking about for these 160 days, a million barrels a day, will leave us at 308 million barrels. That's if no other oil came out of that. That's if they didn't give out any other oil. Food is harder to get. Food is more expensive. And it's only going to get worse. The EU, of course, this is ridiculous. The EU, of course, is executives in a new bid to cut funds to Hungary for weakening democracy. First of all, Hungary had a vote. I don't know if you guys know. Their election just happened. Their election happened to be the party that the NATO does not like. That got elected. Fairly elected in that country. There was no evidence of fraud or whatsoever. Fairly elected in Hungary. And now they're fighting it. NATO is fighting Hungary's own election because they had the party that they didn't want in power is in power. I mean, basically, from what happened is the European Union executives started a disciplinary procedure against Hungary today, and a step that could lead to a freeze of the Prime Minister Volkov Ombers and undercutting liberty and democracy rights, for undercutting those rights, supposedly. Bracing for tensions of the self-styled liberal crusade, few in the EU offer their congratulations to Omar last week with scores of a fourth landslide win in the national election. He not just won, he won in a landslide by his people. When his winning came in spite of years of the EU criticism of his undercutting liberal Democrats' rights and accusations that he's using funds to block and enrich his associates. First of all, you don't have a landslide win in your country every time if you're just killing your political partners or doing what they're claiming. It is ridiculous at this point, now that we have NATO and EU, of course, fighting countries that they don't want to be in control of. My video should not be frozen. My camera might freeze from time to time, but not my video. Yeah. Oh, well, Germany's not just getting thrown under the bus. We'll talk about that in just a second. That's ridiculous what's happened in Germany. Germany has actually seized control over Russian natural gas company, Gazprom. They have seized a natural gas company, Russia's natural gas company, saying it will do what is necessary to maintain energy supply to the country. Germany should be far thrown under the bus at this rate. Germany, economic minister, is violating foreign trade policy and foreign trade law by seizing assets that do not belong to them, because Germany is highly reliant on, of course, Russian natural gas, and along with those, Berlin has actually taken over a natural gas company that is pumping natural gas from Russia, basically stealing natural gas from Russia. That is ridiculous. It's going to keep this stuff's just going to keep biting us in the ass in the long run. But Germany seizing that is just ridiculous. Berlin seized control, of course, of the base units of Russian natural gas, and Germany's economics minister announced the seizure in a statement, saying that the move came after the Minister of the Economic Affairs learned that the company was acquired by one of the oligarchs that were sanctioned, which is ridiculous. You can't seize property from a foreign country and pump it in and suck it out. That's what they're doing. It's going to end up being a tragedy over there. Of course, the EU's bid over there on what's happening. And who's inflation hurting here in the U.S. after everything? Inflation's soaring to the highest levels. It's hurting the lower income households, the disproportionately burdened by high inflation, especially the cost of rising food costs and housing and energy. You have policymakers on the right that lack the right data to fully capture the disparity. It's just a destruction that we're seeing happening. It's everywhere. It's not just here. It's Ukraine. It's everywhere. Well, I don't know if you know, they seized the energy company, Teresa, and they're pumping out the gas. They don't care. But Germany did that, of course, after they said they were going to keep buying oil, and then instead of doing that, they just stole the company. And they did that after the disruption, of course. Germany activated its emergency plan to deal with the disruption of natural gas after Russians Vladimir Putin demanded payment in rubles and threatened shutting off natural gas to Europe altogether, which I think Russia's going to do now. I think we're going to see a total shutoff of natural gas to Europe. And that'll be a picture of everybody or a lot of people all over the country pretty soon. As interest rates rise, a lot of people are variable rate mortgages. Incomes are not going up at the same rate. It's a drastic problem that's happening here in America. Lower wages, higher costs are the way we're facing this right now. Whether we want to admit it or not, it's going to affect America. It's going to affect us every day going forward. Of course, as we see costs go up and people have to do what they can do to survive, who's going to be to blame? Biden won't take himself to blame. He'll blame it on somebody else, anybody else at that rate. It's bad. Things are going to get a lot worse. And I don't think people are realizing it. I don't think people are opening their eyes yet to what's happening. China and Russia now are backing each other through and through, as we've seen to it, like talks just between Russia and China getting more extreme. Zelensky, of course, tells the UN it must act now to stop Putin and Russia deliberately destroying Ukrainian cities after he went and bombed an oil depot in Russia. It's just sad. Germany seized $25 million in Bitcoin as it shut down a Russian language dark net market place, supposedly for illegal drugs. They weren't traded in the U.S. or they weren't traded in Germany either. They just found the darknet marketplace and just seized the assets and shut it down because it was in Russian language. A lot of things that are happening that just don't make sense. That just don't make sense. And how will inflation end? How will we be after all this? What'll happen? That's a big question today. Is where we're going to end up. Because this could be very drastic and a very quick turn of events for everyone here in America. As we face these facts forward and front, there's no going back to where we were. Yeah, it's hard to know what to believe, where it's coming out of. That yeah, robberies and burglaries are going to increase. Crime is going to increase overall. You'll still see more retail thefts. Yeah, gas is temporarily going to go under $4 a gallon. It'll probably go to like 3.80 something. That's what they're projecting. While they're releasing a million barrels a day into the market of free oil. Basically, 1/20th of our oil is free, and that's the only reprieve we're seeing. Oh, it's not free because we already paid for it when they bought it with U.S. tax money. World War III is getting closer at this point. It's just sad. Home prices going up still. There's a housing bubble going on. Yeah, we already paid for the reserve to be filled, and now they're dumping it in the market for free, and we're paying for it anyways because it's free. These companies that are processing it, of course, charging a premium to get it processed, and we're paying for it again. And we'll pay for it again when we fill up the reserves again. Facing what's happening, it's just ridiculous. Of course, the U.S. is sending more drones to Ukraine. That will include more tank killers, switchblade tank killers. And the sad thing is, people say, "Oh, well, Russia's losing this war." Russia hasn't even relied on cyber attacks on the battlefield in Ukraine at all. They haven't even started using any kind of cyber technology to attack. And that's where people really need to look at what's happening in Ukraine. No huge, massive weapons of mass destruction have been used. No higher technology weapons. Not even the new S-35s have been used yet, or Su-35s. Even though Ukraine claimed to have shot down an Su-35, there hasn't been any flown yet. So how did one get shot down by Ukraine? That is just sad. Of course, the feds are prepared to take stronger action to fight inflation, knowing that it could cause a recession at this point, and knowing that their chance of halting inflation is next to nothing. That. Look at not just Venezuela. Look at Lebanon. Look at what happened in Lebanon. Lebanon seemed to have happened overnight once once their dollar was no longer valued by other countries. The United States is more like a Lebanese dollar than anybody else's because our currency is only valued because of the petrodollar system. Otherwise, our money doesn't have any value to it. If the petrodollar system did not run on U.S. currency, and these companies decide to honestly open up, and not only that, they're backed by China's military if they need it. And China's prepared for war. It's bad. And you know what? We see these immigrants come across the border on the southern border at alarming rates. But you know where the Ukrainian citizens are waiting? They're waiting on the other side of the border. The ones that we said we would take in. They're waiting in Tijuana. They're waiting to get a permission to come into our country. Now, the atrocities that are happening there, the citizens, I do not blame a single thing on them. That is not their fault. And they should be able to come here. The problem is they're doing the right thing. Meanwhile, we have tens of thousands of people a day crossing the border illegally, and nobody's doing nothing about it. Ukrainians are waiting in Taiwan, just a bus ride away from the U.S. border, to get into the United States. It's scary. I don't know if China will even have to attack to take Taiwan at this point. They're killing Taiwan's economy from the fruit industry, which is a huge export of Taiwan, and China is the major buyer of a fruit that Taiwan produces. And they're killing Taiwan's economy by not allowing the sale of the fruit to the mainland, saying it has pests right now. If you guys don't know that's happening as well. It's just sad watching what's happening across this country, across the world right now. Big oil companies are using wartime profits to enrich investors, not worrying about the people they actually buy their items and their fuel. No, he doesn't care about our country. Yeah, there's also really good books out there. Things called the library. Yeah, the UN is sure fixing everything, let me tell you. And the US, of course, wants to put more sanctions on Russia, knowing, okay, China and Russia were waiting for an opportunity. Because if they exited SWIFT, that would mean it would be like a call to war if Russia were to do that without being forced out of SWIFT banking. Yes, it hurts them temporarily, very temporarily, or it hurts Russia being pushed out of SWIFT, the SWIFT banking system. But in the long run, it benefits them because SWIFT banking is, of course, transactions on U.S. dollar value, just like the petrodollar. By pushing Russia out of SWIFT, and now China's going out of SWIFT because now it's not a war thing. We're doing it because we're sanctioning Russia. We're giving them the opening to do this. Of course, and people are saying, well, Russia's on the brink of default and debt after U.S. blocks its dollar payment. They have plenty of gold. They've been selling their oil for actual gold and rubles. And they can default on their debt with any other country that is not within. We're sanctioning them. Who cares? They don't care. They have the gold. They aren't stupid. China and Russia is the one that are buying up the gold. Cost of food is going to go higher. The rich are getting richer, but the rich won't have as much. Well, the super rich are getting richer. The rich aren't getting richer at this point. The rich are getting poorer. Charles Darwin. Evolution is happening. Evolution is happening. Evolution of economies, evolution of countries. There's a reason China has been China for so long. China has been China before any other country existed. Back when Mayans used to walk the earth. I mean, people don't grasp the concept. Yes, they may be a dictatorship, but they're built on a different kind of economy. Their military is small compared to their population. Their population could easily overturn the government there. They choose not to in a lot of ways. It's about respect. It's about family. It's about honor. It's a different world. Musk is not rich. Musk is super rich or super wealthy, ultra wealthy. It's sad. One thing after another as we go through. Yeah, or Teresa. And another, yeah, if people are going to try to learn something and want to know where to keep the information from, even if you don't have a library, say you have a cheap cell phone, you have an SD card in, go to your local library. You can actually download the app for your local library and download the ebooks right to your phone. You don't have to go to the physical library anymore. A lot of libraries, and your state obviously have one. Every state has one now, an e-library, where you can download the books. Basically, you're checking them out, a digital copy. Once it's on your phone, it's on your phone, though. Then it's always there. Paper copy is always best, but I understand a lot of people don't go to. Seriously, that's what I said. Uh, it's just we're gonna face some hard times ahead. Yeah, mass shootings are ridiculous this year, Ed. And Ukraine, this is another thing. Ukraine is claiming that they shot down an Su-34, and they're claiming somehow they intercepted audio communications on that plane, which they have not intercepted any Russian audio from jets before, but managed to intercept the newest encryption coding audio on the Su-34. Makes no sense. It's just sad. But God bless you guys. If you guys can afford to donate, please do. If you can't, we understand. It's just a long time ahead of us. Got a long road ahead of us coming as we go forward and try to stay strong and stand tall. A lot is happening. Baron, you got lucky. If you can get chicken, get it now because the prices are going to go up. Over 20 states now. It's going to be hard. But God bless you guys. We will be live tomorrow night. 8:30 or 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Another hard day. Another hard day for America. But God bless you and good night.